Hello viewers, here's that wonderful Vornado Traditions heater again. I was using this the other day and had it on for a handful of moments and then it cut off. So I turned the thermostat up and it came back on, and then a few more minutes later it cut off again. So I turned up the thermostat all the way and it didn't do anything. So I was playing with the dial and I noticed that when I first put it all the way up and it makes that click sound, it would run for a split second and it would cut off again. And then a few seconds later I saw something spark on this side of the heater, and then that was it. It never ran again. So I'm thinking that maybe the problem with this heater is sourced within the thermostat. So I'm going to open this dreadful thing up again, and we're going to pull out the thermostat and see if I can create a working heater sans the thermostat. Ugh, that's too big. I'll have to do it manually. Figures. Now, if this works, this may be a nice heater to use downstairs, because I have to say it does actually put out a pretty good breeze, and it has a high heat output compared to most of the other electric portable heaters that I have. So I'd like to use it, and I think it has enough customization in the speeds that I think you could probably leave it running and still be comfortable with just selecting one of the speeds and not having the thermostat. So let's see what we can do here. If I understand this correctly, we have this. I believe how this works is we have the two wires for the fan, we have heat coil 1, heat coil 2, and then the return. Now, I could be wrong, I could be completely mistaken, but I believe that is how it works. Now, there's an indicator light inside here, and one of those wires runs over to the thermostat, and I want to just see what that indicator does. I'm not sure if that indicates that it's satisfied its temperature, or if that just indicates that it's running. So I'm going to plug this up here. Hopefully the thing doesn't explode or something. Oh, I gotta plug it in over here because the Christmas lights are still on. I'll plug this in over here and we shouldn't have a problem. So I'll start it up on the fan. And okay, so it's power. I don't know why the fan only mode has a thermostat setting. I mean, that's kind of dumb, but yeah, that is just fan. So it's the light's always on, so it's just a power indicator. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take, let's see here. Oh, that's a little bit confusing. I gotta think about this. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I just kind of schematicized it, if that's even a word, and I was correct in the sense that this is the return. This is the return to the mains, and this is the return for the element and this is the return from the indicator light. So I believe if we take these 3 wires and just combine them, it should run perfectly fine. Because these 2 wires, the return to the mains and the return from the light, are on the same tab on the thermostat. So it should all be together. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to leave enough of it in place that if I decide to replace the thermostat or whatever, it doesn't work, or some crazy reason that I decide I need to put it back as it was, I have a way of knowing where things went. And then I'm simply going to strip these out. Or strip these out is probably not the right terminology to use. That's more for like if a screw breaks. Okay, so now I don't have any of these things, so I'm just going to use a regular old one of these and combine this like this. And we'll see what happens. Quite possibly there's something else wrong with this and it may still trip out and it may not work. But the thermostat was certainly behaving erratically, and chances are this may get it to work reasonably well again. So now I gotta wrestle with this to get it back in place. I'm not going to put the screws back in yet. I'm just going to test it first, make sure that it runs and everything is connected correctly and it doesn't just blow up or something. Oh, and the camera's running out of battery. Well, in case something interesting happens, I guess better change the battery so we don't lose any footage. Somebody at Sony, please tell me why the camera is designed such that you can't plug in the power while it's recording. That is just ridiculous. Okay, now we are going to plug in the fan and see what happens. Well, it's not a fan, it's a heater, and it didn't blow up, so that's a good sign. We have light, we have fan, we have heat element. Are we getting warm? Yes, it is getting warm. Cycle through all the different settings, and this obviously does nothing because it's not connected. Okay, well that certainly seems to be working. So now, of course, it's not even that cold today. I'll let this run for a while and see what happens. Hopefully it just runs and is fine. That would be great if that's the case. But I really have no idea what to expect. So I'll close out the video now. If I don't record another video, then it worked perfectly fine. If it doesn't, I'll update. Actually, on second thought, before we check out, I want to do one more thing. I want to test it on the Kilowatts Meter, because I noticed the cord was getting kind of warm last time I had used it, and I'm not sure if that's, even now it's actually already a little bit warm. So I want to see if it's drawing unreasonable amounts of power or if the wire is just old. I'm going to use a function on the tripod I think I have never used before. and may never use again. Okay, so we're at 119 volts. I'll plug this in and I'll change this over to watts. Start off with just the fan. And it looks to be stable at 34 watts. And there's no way for me to tell what the fan would draw on low, because as soon as I switched over to low, it's going to give me heating elements. So here's low fan, low heat. 700 watts. Good grief. I thought it would be more like 400 or 500 watts. Alright, so we're at about 746, 45 watts. And we'll go to high fan. Well, actually, I guess we could calculate what the fan draws on low, because if it's 763 on high, I need some paper. 700. Where's the pencil? Oh, jeez. Now I have to doubt what the numbers were. Okay, so we're at 764 watts. That's for high. Oh, now it's 765. Okay, now we're going to go to low. What? 66? Alright, 65. Now we're low fan, low heat. And that's going to give us 749, 48, 47, 46, 747. So that's going to give us, let's see here. $18 watts, I think. Let me make sure I did that right. Yeah, so the fan is going to draw 18 watts. So what we just did was I subtracted the draw on low from the draw on high, and that gave us 18. So the fan draws 18 watts on low and 35 watts on high, approximately. I mean, these values are changing, so whatever. So I'll go back up to high fan, low heat, and we'll go up to 765. So now we're going to go to high fan, low heat. No. High heat, low fan. This thing is so confusing. Okay, we're at 1460. Usually these types of heaters are about 1500 watts, so that's not an unreasonable draw. Looks to be stabilizing out around 1448, 49, and now we'll go up to high fan, high heat. And we're looking at 1,472. Nope. Okay, it's going to go up a little bit. 1,472 watts. So that's just about normal for one of these kinds of heaters. So if the wire is getting hot, which it's not getting hot, it's just getting warm, it's just going to be a function of its old, I guess. It has more resistance than it did when it was new. But yeah, that's not an unreasonable draw at all. Well, that was an interesting test. Oh yeah, that's cool. Let's see if we can get that corrected. So what we'll do here is I'll let this run for a while. We're at high fan, high heat. I'll keep an eye on the kilowatt meter and make sure that the power draw is remaining steady. And if this runs successfully for a reasonable amount of time, like half an hour or so, and it's not showing any signs of having a problem, I'll probably go ahead and replace the cord and use this. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, and out.